Who we are. We are Southern gospel music's first black family. Tell Reggie I said that. Okay, tell Reggie Sattler I said that. Because I pick at him about that. I said, yeah, y'all were the second family. We were the first. And we're one big happy family.
Most of the time. Most of the time.
Most of the time. All right. That's the truth.
It was 1952 in Franklin, Virginia, where the mother of 11 children, Bernice Scott, formed a group in the family's living room. The group, known simply as the Scotts, and now, 65 years later, are still going stronger than ever. Out of 11 children, amazingly, all have sung in the group at some point in time. In the beginning, the family sung only at their home church where their father pastored, but soon were invited to other local churches and events. Over the years, their ministry continued to grow and expand, and in 1988 they were recorded by Tim Green and Glory Land Records. Soon after that, they released their first radio single, a song written by Jerry Scott entitled Praise Your Name. This song would go on to make the national charts.
In 1986, we did an album with Tim Green of the Greens, and that got us on
Glory Land Records.
Glory Land Records, that's right. And then we went to the old PTL Club and met a gentleman named, that was what Jim Baker was, and met a gentleman named Brian Hudson, who gave us the song I'm In It For The Love, which is our signature song now. And it started there. And we went all overseas and did 140 to 175 dates a year.
Yeah. You know, to be honest with you, that has happened to us more after we made it than before. Because before we made it, our parents were still alive. All the siblings were still pretty much together. But post-stardom, if you want to use that word, once our parents were gone and everything started going west for us, we decided then, you know, like our signature song says, we're in it for the love. We were put to the test to prove that we were actually really in it for the love.
This last project that we did, I remember one day Terry called me. He said, why don't we do another album? He said, I feel it. Why don't we just do another album, and whatever happens with the album, happens with the album.
To be honest with you, the only outside person in the whole project was the engineer. It crosses genres with styles.
Right, yeah.
And it has a little bit of Southern gospel, it has a little bit of black gospel, it has some, if you want to use the word contemporary or progressive.
Yeah, definitely.
We're proud of it because actually we produced
it. Yeah.
This, and executive producer.
One thing we never did, and we vowed that we would never do, and that was to entertain or play any other music other than God's music, other than gospel music. We have been offered, but the song we sing, "I'm in it for the love," is genuine. We mean that. We're in it for the love that God has given us the gift to sing. We're going to sing for Him. Never entertained or attempted.
Not even a thought.
No, because, my mother threw that in us, the seed in us. She said, the Lord gave you the gift. Don't ever use that gift in any other door.
Before you were born, before my children were born, I asked Him, I prayed, and I asked Him, Lord, make them a musician. My husband asked me later in the year, why did you ask the Lord for something else? I said, I don't know. I asked Him for what was working in me. But it was up to you to ask Him for what was working in you. So, music was working in me. And so I said, Lord, I want a band for you. And one day, at church, I looked and I had the band for Him. And I wanted my children to dedicate everything they do do it for God, number one. And that be your aim, your goal, your aim, your purpose.
Growing up being twins, we were the last two of 11 children, 7 minutes apart. Being a twin was, which we don't look as much like twins now with this hair on my face. You need to grow some hair. That's what
That's
needs.
okay.
That's
I
what
don't
needs
have a
hair.
problem not having
Well,
that.
that's what you said. But anyway, being twins.
Excuse me. The problem with being a twin, he's 7 minutes older, and he wants to act like he's my daddy, and I want to know what happened in those 7 minutes that gave him so much more life experiences than I got. I just don't get it.
And look, and now he's trying to make up for it now, trying to be my daddy. But anyway, I would say we were somewhat spoiled by the fact that everybody was so much older. We had so many parents.
We were spoiled.
Yeah, they were old. I mean, I have sisters that are 20 years older than us. Some of the highlights of our career, we were one of the first groups to ever go to the country of Poland. They were a communist country, and they wanted a group that could come over. It was Century 2 at the time. They wanted a group that could come over to Poland that would be that could bridge that language barrier. So we did it, and we went over, and I remember that one of the
last night.
The last song, they gave us 4 encores. We had to give 4 encores because of they could feel the music. It wasn't that it was.
They could not. A lot of them could not
They
understand
couldn't
the word
understand
we were saying.
the language, but they could
But
feel
right, and it
the music.
Really, that's really, to this point, that's really the highlight. When we look at now, what God is doing for us now, like we are involved now with Randall Wiles and Wiles and Associates, doing the Taking America Back tour. And actually, what that is, there's so much division in our country. Is racial divisions, there's religious division, and when you really look at it, God made all of us. He put us here, and we have gotten so far from our spiritual values as a country and as a nation that the tour is really based on bringing Christian values back to America.
Our sole purpose in traveling, even coming back on the road, is really to see souls saved, to finish what God has assigned for the Scots to do. And that's what we want to see, souls saved and souls delivered, and people filled with the Spirit. That's why we travel, that's why we sing. Gospel music has veered so far away from the roots of why the word gospel is spreading the good news of Jesus Christ. And it's become so commercial and so, although you need the finances, it's become so marketable and there's so much geared in that direction. And what we want to do is bring what the true meaning of gospel music is back.
We went out on the road as much younger men, and the limelight kind of got to us a little bit, just like it does with everybody.
And it will.
And we did not always do really what God intended for us to do. And we're just thankful that God did give us another opportunity to go back out on the road and really to do what our sole purpose was, and that's for Him to get the glory completely out of what we are doing.
When you see the Scots in person, you'll hear a mixture of Southern gospel and black gospel with a little flavor of R&B. They have a high energy in their performance, and you can tell God is definitely working in their lives. This is not just a group with a great past, but a family of singers that has come back stronger than ever before. It's plain to see that for the Scots, this is definitely a ministry. They're not in this for the glory of man or the fame and fortune, but for the glory of God, for the call.